Small crocodile.
Welcome to
Okay.
Decades, hosted by Chris Rubio. Decades is a show made up of 5 generations of people brought together to discuss topics you wouldn't normally talk about with others. The goal of the show is to learn by having some good, possibly heated discussions, without losing the simple fact that it's okay to talk to different people with different opinions other than your own.
What's up? My name is Chris Rubio, host of Decades. We've got a phenomenal show for you today. This is going to be one where we're going to kind of let the panelists kind of lead the direction, so to speak. We've got Sub 60 Ed over in Virginia. We've got Alex on Tech, otherwise known as Gru, in California. We've got Craig Hannum in the 509. That's basically Clarkston, Washington, for all those people. He's in another state, but he's only about 5 miles from me. And then we got John Bergeron in basically Miami, we'll say. Welcome, guys. Welcome. We've got a good show. This is a new topic. The topics that we're going to go with are basically things that you've seen over the past 2 weeks or even recently and just said, what the hell's going on? Like, you really can't see the irony in this, or like, what are you thinking? Just one of those things where you just kind of scratch your head. If you had hair, you could pull it out. And I wanted to open it up with kind of it's the hot topic for right now. And it's one of those things that I want to know what your guys' opinion is on it. I have my opinion. Sub 60, why don't you pull up the picture that I asked you to put up? So for those that are listening, it says Times new cover, the dire wolf is back after 10,000 years. Here's what that means for other extinct species. And sub-tweeting it or sub-posting, I don't even know, or quote tweeting, I think it has called now. Jurassic World says, we see no possible way this could go wrong. All right, so now this is not an exact dire wolf, okay? For those that have seen Game of Thrones, those are the wolves that start off as puppies and basically get the size of a Toyota Camry. And if anyone's ever seen a wolf in the natural setting, they are not small, okay? We're talking, imagine the biggest dog you can imagine. Now go bigger and heavier. I mean, they are frightening. If you ever seen a actual wolf, I've seen one cross a road about 40 miles south of me, and it was a nightmare. It was a big black wolf, and I was like, what the hell was that? Because it leaped the entire road in one just leap. So I have my opinion on this, of them bringing back, it's not exactly a dire wolf, but I think they got DNA from a skull and a tooth. Yeah. And they're just redoing this, and I think they're doing a mammoth, a woolly mammoth is next. And then I think they're throwing around like a saber-toothed tiger or a dodo bird or things like that. I'm going to hold my opinion to the end. Bergeron, what is your opinion on, let's reenact 10,000 or, get them going again, 10,000-year-old animals?
Yeah, I mean, you know what this reminds me of? It reminds me of Dr. Fauci and gain of function. And what went wrong there?
Yeah.
Right? They've been doing this since, I believe it was Dolly the sheep in the mid-90s, right?
Yeah,
with cloning and all this other nonsense, and people were warning about this. Again, I don't know what good can come from this. Why in the world they want to bring back prehistoric animals? But again, it just reminds me of the Dr. Fauci gain of function, and something could go terribly wrong here.
And is the positive? Does any of you guys have positives on this? Because we can have you answer the positive. Gru, are you positive on this?
No.
Okay, Sub 60. I hate to bring you out.
Modified, food, GMO.
The thing's already bigger. The thing's already bigger than me, so I'm a no.
Well,
Chihuahuas, come on.
Yeah. No, not a Chihuahua. But that thing's probably up to my rib cage. So no, I don't need something that's, unless I can ride it. Unless I can saddle the thing and ride it, hey, I'm okay. Or unless it's my attack beast.
Okay, so you're out for it as well, Sub 60.
Yes, sir.
Okay, Alex on Tech, Gru.
I don't like it. Again, as I said, it reminds me of GMO food, okay, genetically modified food. So I mean, it's kind of, why? Okay, it's not a good thing.
Okay, yeah, and then one of the things they're saying, it's going to be in captivity. Well, then what's the point of bringing it back? Like,
what is the purpose?
I think the purpose is just to be able to say, okay, we brought it back, so they're no longer quote unquote extinct. But I'm go ahead, Hannah. I want to see what you say. Then I'll bring my opinion into it.
All right, so you're talking this animal and the woolly mammoth lived approximately, our last ice age ended what, 11,000, 12,000 years ago ish. Okay.
That's what they're saying.
Yeah, these animals survived in that environment because of the temperature. Right now, we know that the Earth goes through a cycle of ice ages every 120, 150,000 years. So maybe we're coming up on that doom mark, but you don't bring something back. Now, one, a dire wolf, you're right. It's huge. Yeah, I've seen wolves in the wild, and you're right. They are massive, massive animals, and they're designed to survive like that. So here's where I laugh at the pharmaceutical companies and these geniuses and geneticists. If you can bring back a species that's been dead for approximately 12,000 years, why the hell can't we fix, I don't know, cancer, epilepsy, Alzheimer's, all these other things? You have the science to do this from a tooth and a skull, like you said. Where are we going wrong here? So yeah, part of me is like, nah, I'm not drinking the Kool-Aid on this one. This is not smart. And I agree. They're going to be in captivity. For what purpose and for how long? Animals do, any animal in captivity, a predator like this, they always find a way out.
Yeah, we've all seen the movies.
They're not designed to be kept in a cage.
Well, my thing is not the purpose, because we've seen a lot of scientific experiments or what USAID was giving money towards, all these goofy studies and all this and that. But it's the limitations. If I want to bring back my grandfather who died before I was before I was born, can I do that? Right? What are the limitations here? So it scares me in that aspect. Is somebody going to try to bring back Hitler or Napoleon or another Donald Trump? Right? So I just don't see the purpose of it, and I'm scared of the limitations that people try to take this too far.
I'm with you, John. Where's the ethics, the morality, and the ethics behind the science?
Well, and here's my point, and I know I swing a little bit more extreme on this. I'm completely out with any animal and or thing that is not self-sufficient at this point. Like, I hate to be that guy, but like panda bears, or what are they doing? Like, you ever seen like pandas in the wild where they can barely chew on bamboo and they're tripping over themselves and they're doing somersaults and they can't do anything? Like, if we just don't touch pandas, are they really surviving at this point? I mean, I know they're cute, but like, can they survive if we just throw them out in China? I don't know where they're at.
We know that they've tried and it didn't work. And China was chastised about it, 25 years ago. They tried it and it died very suddenly and very quickly. But no, a woolly mammoth, come on, give me a break. Where are you going to put it? Antarctica? Oh, there's no vegetation down there. There's no place for these animals to survive. There's a reason why they died. The ice age ended. When people talk about global warming, the climate change of the earth is a natural progression. I always argue this when people are like, oh, the CO2. You know what? Why do farmers who farm tomatoes in hydroponics in these massive silos of greenhouses, why do they have CO2 emitters in there? Oh, I know, because they're cut off from the natural world where they can't do that whole thing called photosynthesis, which I don't think has changed, right? We still teach that. It's just the same. Okay, cool. It's there for a reason, because it's cut off from the outside air. So they have to dump CO2 or carbon dioxide into the air to do the photosynthesis for these things to grow at such a rate. Climate change is nothing new. It's just we're learning new sciences on it because of our own technology. That's the only thing that improves with generations is technology. Human nature is still the same.
Well, and like Bergeron said, the whole thing is of where does the line get drawn? Like, okay, can I bring back my dead grandpa? I'd like to hang out with him. Can we bring back Mr. Jesus? Then what if someone says, well, I've got enough money. I want to bring back Hitler. I want to see what he would do nowadays. I want to bring back blank. It's one of those things where is the line? And then once this technology is figured out, you get Dr. Evil in there. What's happening there? I mean, I think, okay, this is kind of cool, but to me, it's also on the line of like the whole AI robots. Like, okay, we might need to throttle this down a little bit. If you've ever been to the Sphere in Las Vegas, they have these robots right when you walk into the lobby, and you can ask them questions, they talk back to you, and it's kind of cool/weird. And you can say, hey, I'm Rubio from Lewiston. They'll say, oh, Lewiston, it's up by Clarkson, blah blah blah. And then you can leave and come back and they'll see you like, hey, Rubio from Lewiston. And like they learn who you are within a very quick amount of time. And I told my wife, I go, let's get out of here. I've seen Terminator. I know how this ends. you know.
Well, have you ever AI'd your resume? I tried it once. I never published it. And in my section for my time in uniform, those 20 plus years, I put, counterterrorism, 36 countries, probably what Nick does. Nick Humble does as well. I've been to this many countries, but you can't list them. So AI did a search, right, of the time period that I served. The war on terror kicked off and figured out that the U.S. Army Special Operations Command served in so many countries and started listing all these countries. Now, a few of them, like, no, I was never there. But the ones that are there, I'm like, oh, shit, that's this. I can't use this. One, it wasn't my voice, your written voice. But I'm like, nah, AI is, I'm not a fan of it. I mean,
well, you take that as, let's just say I can bring back the baddest soldiers of all time and then hook it up with Elon's Neuralink, and now I have a whole soldier class that is under my operation. So, and this thing can get very dangerous very quickly.
Yeah, and they got what, 10 billion and change in funding to do this. 10 billion.
It's unlimited. Anything in AI funding right now is ultimately unlimited funding.
Well, are you talking about the Dire Wolf funding?
Yeah,
or
I apologize. We crossed streams there.
Got
but
it,
they got 10 billion in funding to bring back these two dogs.
Oh yeah, because I was gonna say AI has got to be way more than that.
It's in the trillions. It's in the trillions.
And it's honestly well worth it. I mean, it's as bad as it is and as good as it is, it's one of those things that it's obviously not going away. And it's I mean, I know Bergeron is the master of it. He's looking up stuff. He's grokking it. If you guys haven't used Grok on X or even as his own app, it's unbelievable because you can just literally just fact check things left and right very, very quickly. Where you see a post from someone you like or dislike, you can just say, Grok, is this factual? And it just goes through it within billions of a second. And then you see what Chat GPT is doing with all the videos and pictures and all that stuff, and they're just creating basically consumer ads very, very quickly, which is almost shocking.
I think.
Yeah, I'll say this is just like the internet, that if you're not using it, you're going to be left behind.
Yes. Oh, 100%.
Yeah, I think the fall of humanity, a democratic humanity, will be when they force everybody to put something in the back of your hand, and that is your currency.
Well, that's already being done, isn't it?
No, really?
Where did I see that? There, you could scan your groceries like this.
Oh, that's bad juju, man.
Yeah, I saw it somewhere, and the lady, it wasn't China, it was someplace where they had it in her wrist, and she was making it like, wow, it's so convenient. That's great. Yeah, it is convenient, but you realize they can just turn you off or just cut that part out and it's game over.
Oh,
like that's the thing.
You bought too many bags of potato chips. You're going to get overweight, so we're going to cut you off, Yeah.
Well, you've seen, I don't know if you were AC of AC Sports Live. He was talking about how he went to SoFi Stadium, and you guys live in bigger cities than we do. I guess you just walk into like this Amazon food booth. It already has your card on file, and it sees as you're walking out, it just scans your items, boom, 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 and it just charges your card. Okay, you just paid $27. Like you don't even run it through machines anymore. It just, as you're going, it scans you. Bergeron, have you done any of those? Because you live in a big city.
Yeah, no, absolutely. That's an Amazon store. They have those. AWS is behind a bunch of those stores, and that's the future. I mean, the whole thing is about cutting out manual labor. I mean, there's a whole robot class that will be coming, and that part really, really scares me. By 2030, I mean, I know I've told this to many others, and my son, I work in the communications field. No one will be driving by 2030. Nobody.
I could see
everyone will be in a self-driving car, pod, vehicle, whatever you want to call them. And what I've heard in the industry is that driving is the new smoking. Right? They are going to do everything they can because of the amount of deaths that driving causes. They're going to do everything they can to take the control of driving out of our hands and put it in automatic driving.
Like that movie Demolition Man. You guys remember that?
Well, and Running Man.
It'll be like I said, it'll get to a point to where we will, just like horse and buggy, we will have our grandkids look at us and say, I cannot believe you guys drove yourselves.
It's so dangerous.
It was so dangerous. I can't believe you guys did it. Just like we look at these guys in old movies and they're smoking in the, everyone is smoking in the movie. You're going, what are these guys doing? It's causing cancer. Well, they didn't know at that time, right?
Or they're smoking in the labor rooms.
Exactly. Everywhere. On airplanes. I mean, literally everywhere. And so, yeah, it'll come to that point, I believe.
Gru, you're in tech.
We do have those Waymo cars in Los Angeles that drive people around. Basically, you just order it like an Uber. Comes in and picks you up to 4 people, and drives you around. Like let's say you want to go someplace, he just drives you without anybody's driving. He just self-driving stuff.
Yeah, I mean, what a lot of people don't know about Tesla is that every single one of those cars can be enacted to become a robotaxi. So it can start driving on its own, and you can own a Tesla in the future and use it as a robotaxi, say at night, and actually earn money as it's driving while you're sleeping. So I mean, there's all kind of things that are coming, but I'd say by 2030, there's not going to be many people driving. The insurance companies will force you to make that decision more than anything else.
Yeah, I could easily see that. Scarano says, John, by 2030, question mark, question mark, question mark, question mark. Why do you say that number?
Yeah, because they're layering in all of the technologies that they need to between 5G and satellite technologies and car to car. By 2030, 6G will probably start to come out, and that the car to car communication will just be hyper at that point.
Okay, so just to lean into this a little bit more. So by 2030, let's just say we're rolling at that point. So you're saying cars just won't even have a steering wheel?
Won't even have a steering wheel.
Jesus.
And like you'll have a choice. Like they won't say no more driving, but what they'll do is they'll say, if you want to drive, your insurance is going to be $5,000 a month.
Yeah, and you have to pay the tolls.
Then and so what's going to end up happening, the car companies are going to end up becoming subscriptions. And so you will just subscribe to your car, and whatever you need it to do, it'll get done. But it'll be subscription based. There'll be no more insurance and no more all this other stuff. A lot of trucks are being self-driven. 18-wheelers are being self-driven right now.
Kino says 2032 soon, 24 more realistic. Okay, we could talk on this all day.
Little Bergeron, we fight over this all the time. I'm telling you, 2030. We've been talking about it since you were born. I know exactly what I'm talking about. 2030 is going to be the day.
Okay, so Sub 60, put one of the things up. We had you can only forgive debt when it's your money. It says forcing someone else to pay. I can't see because you got the scroll bar. You can only forgive debt when it's your money. Forcing someone else to pay, or it isn't forgiveness, it's theft. Ooh. Yeah.
It is.
Whose is this? Is it yours, Gru?
Yes, mine.
Okay, explain it to us.
Well, and I mean, I think it's pretty obvious, if it's basically if you're forcing somebody else to pay for your debt, basically somebody's stealing money from you. Let's say if I paid for my kids' college education myself, and then somebody else wants me to pay for their kids because their kids went to college and took student loans, and now they basically want me to pay for it. That's theft from my pocket.
But all those people that had their student loans or they couldn't figure them out, they become tariff experts the last week.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's kind of a side effect of having art degrees,
Yeah. So okay, there's that one.
Yeah.
They were virologists before, if I remember, Rubio.
Say it again.
Those same experts were experts on viruses and other things, if I recall before.
Ukraine.
Yeah.
I was just talking to someone about this today. Do you think that the quote unquote expert community has lost so much more credibility than any other quote unquote community in the past 5 years?
Oh yeah. Yeah. 100%.
Of course. They did.
I mean, unless you've been in a coma and or a cave, it would have to be now where if you heard the words expert, you would just, I personally, I don't think I would pay attention.
Well, every one of these studies and all this other stuff is taken as pure propaganda now.
Yes.
I mean, because it's become too obvious where, if you just say you go back to COVID, where 6 feet was safe, 5.5 foot was dangerous.
Yes.
Remember on planes where the pilot would say, okay, you may take your mask off and consume your food. So for the next 20 minutes in this tube of reconstituted air through a couple of filters, we're safe. that's why I was like, this is such crap. This is one. I was in the medical field, and when they kept saying, "Oh, you can wear your surgical masks for up to 18 hours," I was like, "No, you can't." I was like, the manufacturer says this has a 4-hour lifespan, and if you sneeze or cough in it, you're supposed to replace it with a new one because you're just rebreathing the crap you sneezed in. I was like, guys, this is insane. I was told, hey, that's CDC policy. And I was like, and that's who we're listening to? A government-run organization. We're $100 billion a year for profit, healthcare company, experts in our own right, but we're gonna time out. Hold on. Yeah, I was calling BS on all of it.
Dr. Fauci is a hero.
Oh, of course he is. Of course he is. He came up with it. A guy who's in charge of infectious disease is now a virologist. Come on.
Yeah, that's a. I mean, we could go all night on that one. Sub 60. Give us another one.
He did a first pitch at a baseball game, and that's all I need to know about Dr. Fauci.
Well, yeah, and that was one of the top 5 worst first pitches of all time, too. I think him and 50 Cent
are all I need to know about him.
Yeah, that was embarrassing. This one's got El Trumpo. It says reinstate and expand tariffs, target Chinese goods in key sectors, steel, tech, autos. Next bullet, universal tariff wall, baseline tariff on all imports to favor U.S. manufacturing, replace the IRS with tariff revenue, goal $1 trillion in tariff income used to replace income taxes. Bergeron, this is yours. Why don't you explain it to us?
Yeah, no, absolutely. This is the plan, in case everybody forgot what's going on and they want to have all this hysteria. I made this little chart, if you will, to explain the progression of where we're going. So, reinstate and expand tariffs, especially China. They have really stolen a lot of imperial products from us, and other, anything that we make, American Inuit, mindset is being stolen from China, left and right. So we've got to even the playing field there. Replace the IRS with the tariff revenue. We were a tariff-based country before, and we enacted the IRS. Why not try to lower taxes as much as possible and have what I call maybe a use tax in what a tariff is, to even the playing field, to give American workers and American companies a chance. And that's the next point, to reassure American manufacturing. We're going to have a blue collar boom over the next few years. We're going to have so many new factories opening and so many new jobs that this is what a lot of these people are, these so-called experts are absolutely forgetting, is that there's going to be a boom on the economy side for American companies to be able to sell their goods into foreign lands. Not only that, but we'll be able to export energy again, like we did before, have American-made incentives, and then the prediction there is to have the Dow go to 50,000 by 2026. So a little bump in the road, but I think, even you have Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi on record many times talking about how they need to even the playing field with China. Why can't we all come together and agree? It's just like the border wall. There were many times where you saw Biden and other leading Democrats talk about how we need a border wall, because I remember that Republicans were accused of wanting lower labor or slave labor from Mexico to, and so that's why the Republicans wanted an open border. We just need to come together on some of these issues that we all agree on: closing the border, making sure our elections are free and safe, having free speech. There's a lot of things that we can agree upon, but I feel like we all stumble across just the little minute things like egg prices, right?
Well, the egg prices is one of those things. Drew, I'll come right to you right after this. Is that it's very obvious to me that it's a talking point, because like no one gave 2 shits about egg prices 4 weeks ago. Then all of a sudden everyone says, oh my God, egg prices, egg prices, egg prices. And everyone's losing their mind over the price of eggs for 2 weeks. Egg prices drop, and now they're not talking about egg prices anymore. I mean, when was the last time you heard on mainstream media the word Ukraine or Zelensky? Right. Like that, it's gone. And that's what I was talking to you earlier today about this, Bergeron. Like, I just don't grasp how certain sides can't just figure out, like, guys, you're getting funneled what to say. Like whether it's the Black Lives Matter rectangle you put on your Facebook, or now it's the Ukraine flag. And there was a joke someone sent to me that, oh, by next week, people will start putting Chinese flags on their profiles. And honestly, it could happen. Like it wouldn't surprise me.
Ukraine flags, broken eggs, Tesla's on fire, Chinese flags. It wouldn't surprise. Everything is just anti-Trump. It doesn't matter. And I saw a really good meme the other day that's, that Clinton slashed 350,000 jobs, Obama slashed 377,000 jobs, Trump has slashed like 125,000 jobs, and he's Hitler, right? So it's really just the messenger. I think a lot of people are going to look back at these times and go, God, why was I so stupid going against really what is American policies, America First policies? I really showed myself to be anti-American in that time period, just to be anti-Trump.
Well, and that's one of those things that I hope you're right. But like I think Scarano said last week, he had a pause, and he even said, he goes, why can't we just all kind of not go Rodney King, but like just get along, And it's one of those things. And I think it's almost impossible at this point, simply because El Trumpo is such a dynamic figure, and they choose to hate him more than they love the United States. I mean, like I've said, he could cure cancer, and they'd be like, well, look how many doctors he put out of jobs.
It's because they think that they're fighting real Nazis and real fascists and real communists. It's really amazing. And, I see the ones that are in like Portland and the Pacific Northwest at some of these rallies. I saw this over the weekend. They seem to be the ones that shutting down speech and opposing opinions and things like that. So it just really, I think a lot of these people are going to go back and go, God, I really was stupid and got caught up in this fever of anti-Trumpism.
Yeah, and I think it's about control. I think it has nothing to do with, it's like Nick said that one day when before the election, tell me something about the Republicans and Democrats. You asked that, Chris, remember, that they would believe in. And Nick had said, a Democrat will circle the wagons on their beliefs, period. So first it's like, buy Tesla because we're going electric. California's going to lead the way. Now it's like, whoa, burn Teslas. So it's about control. It has nothing to do about decency and what's the right direction to go here. What is appropriate? What's proper? Da, da, da. It blows my freaking mind, because it's like, guys, you're pissed because you are a multi-millionaire at 175 a year. Take it back. That's what I was going to lead into. I saw a buddy of mine put on LinkedIn today. He said, why is it a service member will serve 20 years, only get 50% of retirement for the rest of their life, but you can serve one term in office in DC and you get that paid for the rest of your life?
Yeah.
Yes.
He's like, that's what we should look at. And then these four people, the oligarchs that are being called, the top four guys, the Democrats, multi-millionaires, because they've passed bills knowing that the stocks are going to go through the roof with that certain business. So I think it's just about control. And I agree that we're just feeding these people information to where mainstream media is saying the exact same thing on different outlets throughout the day.
And then Me Too Brothers just posted, but there are so many that are brainwashed so bad they will not admit they were wrong or stupid. And I think that's kind of a big issue. I mean, as much as I was not a fan of Joey B, I still wanted the country to do well. Like, I mean, and it's like they, like Monday when it wasn't Black Monday or whatever, it looked like a lot of people were disappointed. Bergeron, you want to say something?
No, go ahead, Gru. I saw it.
Well, as far as tariffs, actually, people probably forgot that Reagan did tariffs against Japanese car makers, and they built a lot of factories to employ American workers in the 80s. Okay. And as far as egg prices and all that stuff, I read someplace that actually FDA under Joe Biden prohibited some kind of vaccine that would cure bird flu. It would actually save chicken, but somehow it was like, I'm not sure whether it was done because it was stupid or it was done on purpose, but basically we lost so many chicken, to bird flu because vaccine was not approved by FDA or was prohibited. Farmers were not prohibited by the FDA to vaccinate their chicken and save them from bird flu, so that's why, eggs got, in a short supply for a bit.
And see, that's the twist, because the FDA should have had nothing to do with livestock vaccines. It should have been USDA.
Yeah. Well, I mean, one of those USDA. Yes, sorry. Yeah. I misspoke.
Yeah, but
yes.
no, you're right. FDA will do that. No, we're not going to do this. I saw it a lot when I was a canine in the Army. FDA would say, no, we're not doing that vaccine. It's got nothing to do with you guys, man. It's USDA.
Yeah.
So thank
It
you
was
for
either
participating.
FDA or yes, actually. So.
Bergeron, you want to say something?
Yeah,
I forgot what were we talking about there. Sorry.
No, we were just talking about how so brainwashed, basically, and it's one of those
Oh,
things.
this is what I was going to say. This is what I was saying. I do think there's going to be a reckoning very, very soon, maybe in 20, 25 years for these same folks, just like the same people who were fevered over the Gulf of Tonkin and Vietnam War and patriotism have now taken a look at history and said, maybe I was lied to. Maybe there were other things going on. So I do think there's going to be some time, some reflection back to say, boy, I was really caught up in this anti-Trump stuff.
I mean, I hope you're right. I don't think you're right, but I hope you are, just for the sake of America. Because
have we gotten married, Rubio? Now that you're telling me I'm not right,
it's just one of those things that you see so many people on social media that are going either one way or the other, and it's just like, guys, you see so many posts that you can just fact check so quickly, and the United States first, like I'm still confused at how that's a bad thing. Like, I don't get it. Like, that's what confuses me. Why is that negative? Like, we live here, and it's where, not to be jaded, but it's almost a thing. So my Me Too brother says, I hope so too, but only time will tell. Correct. It's one of those things that the example I always use, if you go to a Mexican restaurant and you don't like the food, you could complain all you want, but don't go back. Like, if you go back and you complain again, and then you go back and complain again, well, then you're stupid.
Or
like,
don't
just
eat
go
all
to
of
a
it and say,
different
I didn't
restaurant.
like it.
Yeah, it's like, okay, I get that you don't like it. No one's got a gun to your head to eat here. So just don't go to this Mexican restaurant. And if this country is not for you, why are you here? Like, maybe am I missing it? I don't know. Is that rude of me to say? Because I don't care, but I just I don't see where I'm going wrong here.
I taught a class to my suicide prevention class to the kids here at LHS and Lewiston High School. And one of them asked me, hey, what do you think, Craig, is lacking, across the country? I was like, patriotism. They said, okay, what do you think we get too much of that makes it bad? I was like, comfort.
Oh,
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I'd be willing to say Bergeron could probably find a couple Cubans that would like to discuss socialism and the negative effects.
I live with them. They're all Venezuelans. They're here. They'll tell you. I mean, their families' businesses were stolen from them. Their lands were taken from them just because Maduro said this is ours now. But let's go back to your America comment real quick. Do you think the Romans back in the Roman days gave a shit about what the Greeks or the Gauls or anybody else in the area went to Rome and said, we don't like this place? They would cut their heads off, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not suggesting that, but to your point, you don't like it, you have the freedom to leave. But the same people that hate America are the same ones getting benefits from America.
Yeah,
that's true.
Taxpayer.
I mean, and I feel like it's one of those. It's so easy now to go to a location that suits you more. Like, for instance, I live in northern Idaho. Okay, I like it here. I travel around a lot. I get to see other places, and I see these other states, and it's like, okay, I could never live there. Here's the reasons why: A, B, C, D, E. I mean, that's the reason why Bergeron's Florida has absolutely boomed in the past 5 years. He started with DeSantis and saying, okay, we're wide open, and then it just proved his dominance of, okay, there's a hurricane coming or a tornado or whatever you guys get. Everyone, let's get the line trucks ready. Bridge goes down. Bridge is fixed in like 8 days.
Yeah.
I mean, not even the Amish do it that fast, and he's got them going ready.
Not even the Amish in Michigan.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
So actually, it's not the weather that affects South Florida. It's the yearly spring break visits that we get from out of towners. That's really the most detrimental to the area of South Florida.
Go ahead, Gru, and then we'll switch topics.
Yeah, as far as those protesters like anti-Trump, anti-Musk and stuff like these days, I'm pretty sure most of them are paid to go there and protest. Okay, I know for sure a lot of them, like during those BLM riots, it was a lot of paid people who were paid like a couple $100 each time they would show up. Okay, so they would show up just to get paid. They don't give a fuck about BLM or George Floyd or any of that stuff. They just like the money and
or COVID.
Yeah.
They didn't care about COVID. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yes. So
Well,
I mean,
you can see that because there's if you're on X and you're looking at anyone that's not the mainstream media, you can see where they're literally busting them in. They've got pre-painted signs, pre-printed signs, and if they get confronted, they have literally a handout sheet of talking points of, okay, why is he a fascist? Oh, he's a fascist because it's like, dude, I mean, and don't get me wrong, I understand you're 21, 22 years old, and someone's going to pay you $500 to go bellow. Okay.
Well, yeah, that's why our new attorney general says I'm following the money. Because and she's going to find out. So bring it on.
It was a big protest here locally in LA area by women and men dressed like Palestinians against Raytheon, which is like one of the biggest military contractors. My wife works for Raytheon El Segundo, and one day she was coming to work and she couldn't get to work because protesters were busting with signs and and all that stuff. Basically not allowing Raytheon people to get into work. Okay, so it was all organized and well made. Okay, basically not just random stuff. It was buses and transparents and rocks and whatever. It was all planned and paid for.
Oh, 100%. Jim S., I'm assuming this is Scarano, says, I just think too many Americans are not intelligent enough to form rational opinions that aren't driven by mainstream media. I would agree with that 10,000%.
But unfortunately, a lot of those are voters, right? So we've got to,
I would say 90% of them
understand, we've got to at least make them love America. And I think that's the point that Trump is trying to get to. There are too many immigrants that have come here and done it the right way that have been successful and stayed and grown their family here to, this American experiment is very good and we should cherish it.
Well, Gru's a product of that. He did it in real time. What did you wait, 2-3 years?
Yeah, it was a couple of years, and I have a good friend who is actually Cuban, and his parents brought him to the States in '68 when he was 2 years old. And before Castro, his dad had like a trucking company and a land, and Castro basically took it over. And then when his dad wanted to leave Cuba, he was put in jail for 5 years before he was allowed to leave. And then when his dad and mom and kids, they came to the States. They had very successful retirement house and retirement business, basically like a home for retired people, So they still were successful because they.
And that was true with the Communist Minute.
It's true though, absolutely, 100%. I mean, that's real communism right there, right? I mean, that's what people do not understand.
I grew up in Soviet Union. I lived there for like 20 plus years, and I saw it, with my own eyes and how things didn't work. Okay, nothing worked. Okay, basically, if people who say, "Oh yeah, it was so great," well, no, I was there. Okay, you cannot sell me free healthcare and free education and free this because it doesn't work. It only works in the book of Karl Marx. Okay, outside it doesn't. It was tried in so many countries and it just failed. I mean, as simple as that.
Me Too Brothers says
favorite freaking quotes was from Karl Marx.
Yeah, exactly.
Me Too Brothers says, I was teaching fire safety at a local elementary school this morning. In the main office, a few students came in to help with the morning announcement and ended with the Pledge of Allegiance. So proud and hopeful. That's unbelievable. It's fantastic. But by the negative in me is, why does that happen every day? Like we have to do the Pledge of Allegiance every single day.
Lewiston High School does it every second. The beginning of second period is the Pledge of Allegiance.
As they should. Well,
we've got a foreign exchange student. He's from Italy. He's a great kid, speaks fluent English. I say, hey, buddy, are you paying attention? He goes, well, I'm not American. I said, stand by. Finish Pledge of Allegiance. I say, hey, where are you from? I'm a foreign exchange student. I'm from Italy. I said, yeah, I've been to your country twice when I served, and I respected your traditions. I'm asking you to just stand there and just be still. He said, yes, sir. Exactly. And that was that. And then it was like, okay, because he's a foreign exchange student. So he's doing what's right. So, you know what got me? We were in, my wife and I were in zone 208 last night.
Okay.
Best wings in the Lewis and Clark.
I was just going to say, I've heard they have the best wings. I haven't had them.
Oh my God. They're amazing. So, Houston and Florida getting ready to play. So when the national anthem was getting ready to kick off, the entire bar went silent. Everyone got off their chair. And so I was like, there you go. That's patriotism. Do you see it everywhere? You're right. You're not. We don't. Because like you, Chris, have been all over. And Yeah, man, this valley is special. It really is.
100%.
You
know, sub 60. Take us to another one, my man. Sub 60. Wake up.
There it is.
It's a little children's book. It says, "Oh, Biscuit, what are you doing here? Dogs don't go to school." I don't. What's happening on this one?
Ooh. This ain't mine.
It's got to be Gru's.
It's mine, yeah.
What's happening there, Gru?
Well, it's basically a girl, who sees it's an obvious, kind of a meme. A girl who sees her dog, kind of following her to school, saying, "Hey, you shouldn't be here. I mean, why you're here? Are you here like to study, to go to school?"
Oh, I get it. I get it. So it's a funny one.
It's a funny one, yes. It's
not too bad, Gru.
And
give me another one. I'm skipping past that one.
I'm so glad you didn't ask us.
That's all she wrote, boss.
Oh, that's it?
That's it.
Okay. Then fine. I got many more topics that have just been scratching my head. Sub 60, you can stay on for these. How is it? And I try to watch MSNBC, CNN, NBC, all those, as much mainstream clips as possible. How is it that you still have, let's say 2 weeks later, people still keen and or trying to vandalize Teslas when they don't realize that there's 9, 10, 11 cameras on sedentary mode?
Did we already address that
the whole time.
People aren't smart? We've already addressed
I don't understand.
People aren't smart. We addressed that a couple of minutes ago. I think Jim Scarano made a post about how people it's a collective lack of intelligence.
But that's past the point. I mean, you could have a 3rd grade education and no camera on, I'm getting filmed. Like I don't.
Yes, exactly.
How come I still see people
driving? I mean, the doors are 1.8 something centimeters thick of bulletproof type armor.
Yeah.
You're not even gonna do it. You're not gonna, especially the dude in that little TV when he hits it. That was just a little bit of justice. If he had gone a little faster, would have knocked his ass out and they would have found him. But it's because they're all drinking the Kool-Aid. Now they're being told, go again, Elon, because he's uncovering our billions of dollars we've been getting on the side.
But see, that's a whole sub issue where I just don't get it. Like, I mean, is it substitute? Maybe you can answer this. Is it because the way he's doing it is because he's a pompous autistic ass? Is it the? I don't understand. He's saving money. He's basically your tax dollars. So say we each pay $100 in taxes. 85 of these dollars.
Honestly, it's the way he's doing it.
Okay.
I mean, I think it's a different story if they go in there and surgically do it. If they do it in a more, instead of going in there with a chainsaw. That's my opinion. I don't know if that's true. I mean, I'm not going to go vandalize a Tesla. I'm in Northern Virginia. I'm going to go
to you and then remind me something about the whale. Someone remind me that I'm going to talk about the whale. Go ahead, Bergeron.
Have you noticed that Elon has been out of the spotlight for the last 5 to 7 days? Do you know why?
Why?
Because he's behind the scenes cutting with all the media. So they decided to put him behind the curtain. Elon, go behind the curtain and cut. Don't let anyone do it. Just put it on your social media and call it a day. Don't do any more media stuff because it's riling up all these people and destroying your dealerships. And there was a charging station that was blown up today, I think, in Portland. So,
I saw that.
Yeah, they're still cutting. In fact, they put out something today saying they found something that is the biggest fraud. It's forthcoming. And in fact, Caroline Levitt had alluded to it in her press conference today. So something is coming. I think it has to do with the military, to be honest with you.
I believe it.
Wow. Okay.
Mike Donnelly just posted, the hatred is real and so is TDS. Yeah, I mean, there's no doubt about that. I mean, that's quite apparent. Hannum, you were going to say something?
Yeah, I was going to kind of disagree with Sub 60 that I think he is using a scalpel. He brought in guys who are experts in forensic economic forensics and all that jazz and macroeconomics and microeconomics. I think he is using a scalpel to uncover this. He could have gone in with a chainsaw and might have had the same result, but he wouldn't have been able to figure out where the monies were coming from, where it was going, and who was the recipient. So I think I do agree with John.
We'll agree to disagree there, Craig, because
that's cool. Because I think the way he's going about it is a scalpel approach. Because I've been in government, and the only way you're going to figure out who's at the end of that carrot is with the scalpel, because it's such a huge machine. Now, I do agree with John that it's smart, and that's what anybody should do. Is like, hey man, this is affecting your business, okay, personally, which means it's affecting your workers. Which, by the way, you're putting first responders at risk, because you can't put those fires out with water. You just can't. You got to let it burn and do the best you can to keep people safe around you. That includes the first responders. So yeah, if you put them behind the curtain, still do your deal, but let's put you behind the curtain for a minute. You keep them out of sight, out of mind, still do your job. I've worked protection, so I get it. Hey, stop putting yourself in the spotlight, man. You're making my job freaking harder.
Oh, it's still happening.
Oh, it's still definitely 100%.
It's just behind the scenes. It's still happening.
Nothing wrong with that.
Gru, you were going to say something, then I'll come back to my whale comment.
Yeah, as far as like people who are like smart or stupid, that guy Mark Kelly, senator from Arizona, who was bragging that he sold his Tesla because he hates Elon Musk and he bought Chevy Tahoe. Okay, he's supposed to be like an environmentalist, pro-environment. But if you're buying Chevy Tahoe and you're ditching Tesla, you're just a stupid ass. Okay, I mean, there is I have no respect for that guy who is supposed to be smart. He was like an astronaut, and went through trainings and stuff, and he's supposed to be smarter than average Joe, but he's not.
Yeah,
it just proves you that, I mean.
I was going to say, I guess climate change is on the back burner again. I guess we're done,
exactly.
we're done with that for a while.
It's not important, yes.
Going back to what Sub 60 Ed was talking about, the scalpel, the way I think of it is this. Our government spending or waste of just, throwing it just out the window, coming up with these NGOs where just Bergeron says he wants to do a palm tree society. How much will it cost? It'll cost $80 billion. Okay, here's $80 billion, and no one has to follow up. Okay, and then maybe he gives me $20 billion back. And which we just, the cycle continues. It just goes and goes and goes. Going back to the scalpel, have you seen the movie The Whale with Brendan Fraser?
Yes, I did. Okay.
Very good movie. The guy is like, let's say, he's got to be 5'6", let's say 600 pounds. Okay.
Yes.
He's a big man. If all of a sudden let's call him government waste. If we need to start having him lose weight, it can't be, if he's eating 9 pizzas a day, we can't just take off 1 piece of pepperoni. It's got to be, okay, fat ass. We've got it. The scalpel for 1 pepperoni is not going to work.
Yeah, from 10 pizzas, you're down to 1 turkey a day, right?
Yeah,
and
literally.
That's all you
maybe
get.
we can cut off 5 pizzas, so now you're only at 4 pizzas per day. Yeah. But just cutting off 1 sausage or 1 piece of stuffed crust pizza, it's not going to do it. And I think that's where we were with the spending. Where what did they just say? I just read something where we spent, it was like some astronomical amount of $1 billion on furniture since 2021 for government employees, and most of them were at government offices that no one was going into. So either they're just filling it with an additional furniture, or if anyone's going to check, or this money's just gone.
Where was the furniture going though, Rubio?
Well, exactly.
Empty offices.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, are they actually filling it, or is that money just a fart in the wind?
No, GSA has thousands upon thousands of empty federal buildings that they can't do anything with. Like these buildings need to be sold off, destroyed, rebuilt, because they're in all these major cities, and they're these old 1950 style buildings that are all over the place.
Yeah,
that are worthless, but we're hanging on to them and paying absorbent amount for power and all the operations of each one of these buildings.
Thank you, Scarano. It says interesting metaphor, Rubio. Sub 60. This will not be a gang up session. I want you to tell me one thing that you've seen from Trump or Elon or something on the right. It doesn't matter who. I don't care. No. And you just say, like,
nope.
What's that about?
Nope.
No.
No. I've been down this road before. I'm not getting ganged up on. Sorry, bro. Ain't doing it. No. We can close out. We're at 50 minutes. We can close it out. Not doing it.
All right. Does anyone have any? Okay, let's do this. We've got 3 years left. Who is the Mike Donnelly says Trump is not just resetting our economy, but resetting the world's economy and how business will be conducted in the future. That's not a bad take at all.
No, that's true. That's accurate.
It happens once every 30 or 40 years. I mean, Reagan did it.
I think
Drew mentioned it with the Japanese auto plants in the 80s. It happens, once every 30 or 40 years. It has to.
Yeah. Countries in Africa, they're saying, okay, we're free trade between us. Okay, you got it.
I like how drinking the Kool-Aid has come up a few times. That is a socialist term from the I forgot the name of the cult, but it was a
Jim
socialist.
Jones?
It was Jim Jones.
Jim Jones, that's right. The Guyana Punch. It was when a bunch of socialists drank the poisonous punch and died. There was like 800 and plus of them that died all at the same time. So it's funny how we refer to them as drinking the punch.
Yeah, 100%.
Yes.
All right, guys. Does anyone have any thoughts on who? Because right now, I mean, you've got a pretty strong quote unquote Republican Party. The Democratic Party seems to be trying to find their way a little bit. They seem to be sticking with certain things that just haven't been working in the past, and they want to keep going, which is fine. If you were to pick your ideal VP president candidate, who do you, not who you think, who do you think they should choose? Like that they might have a chance.
I don't think they do.
I'd say Rubio.
Well, obviously.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, Rubio.
I mean, because right now they're pulling Jasmine Crockett, which my thought is let her speak as much as possible.
Yes. Or AOC.
AOC, she can speak as well.
Yes.
I mean, you've got Gavin Newsom, but he just comes off as so fake.
I saw an article the other day where there is a younger movement in the Democratic Party to try to oust some of these older people. And I can't remember. There was somebody, I can't remember the guy's name. He's like 35 years old. And there are some younger Democrats that are trying to that will be trying to unseat some of the older Democrats come.
Mommy Aquino says Newsom and AOC.
It was that guy, anti-gun guy from Florida who like a second chair of DNC now, David Hogg.
It might have been him. I can't remember him. I can't remember the name, but I remember reading something that there's a movement within the Democratic Party to try to, because the younger people in the party are not happy with the lack of. Thank you, Jim. No, thank you. I'm good. I'm good, man. I don't want that bullshit. No, thank you. But no, they're really. They don't think the Democrats are sitting on their hands right now. So that was kind of what I was reading. So
yeah, and I'll say this: I remember this exact conversation after 12 years of Republicans between Reagan and Bush, and who are we going to come up? We got a very well-spoken senator by the name of Barack Obama who came and uplifted the entire Democratic Party. So there's always going to be somebody who's going to be an up-and-comer. You just never know. But I think their real problem right now is messaging that the too far left is controlling the party. And I would say if you got more moderates in control, then and somebody who could really speak and draw crowds like Obama did, I think you get they're right back. So I would never underestimate.
I would agree with you 1,000%. The problem is that the left, which controls that party, will eat them alive. Like you can't even say like they keep running with the dudes can play women's sports, things like that. And it's like, guys, this is an 80-20 issue. Like,
but that's like saying the KKK taking over the Republican Party. I mean, it just doesn't make any sense. Somebody's got to get that side controlled and
I agree with you. I agree with you 1,000%.
Just like we're expected to do the same on our side with the extremes, right? So, yeah, I mean, the extreme 5% on each side probably could be cut off and, not dealt with.
I would agree with you, but the problem is that side is so influenced by them. I mean, just think of the George Floyd when Nancy Pelosi and Schumer and all those guys and the guy that crapped himself took a knee with all the African scarves on. Like, I mean, that they're 80 years old. Are they really bowing down for this? That's what I'm saying, that their far left pushes the older people to do what they're going to do.
Yes. And
so that's the problem. Guys, you guys did a fantastic job. We missed a couple of our guys that came. They had family issues that come up right at the last second. Hopefully everything is fine with them. I want to thank Groove from California, Bergeron from the free state of Florida, and Hannum from the 509. My name is Chris Rubio, and Sub 60 Ed from Virginia, of course.
Of course.
Spinning the wheels on the back there. Don't forget, at 9 o'clock tonight, you've got AC of AC Sports Live. At 9:30, you've got The Ride with Chevy and Nasty. You'll have a Rubio Method tomorrow night And I think I might have Bergeron on, and I actually will have Bergeron and Hannum on, both of you guys.
That's tomorrow,
likely.
right?
Tomorrow night. Tomorrow night.
What time?
Most likely probably 6, 5. What time?
Either way, 6 is fine.
Okay, we'll see. I got to check with Bergeron. He's 3 hours ahead of us. All right.
Good.
On
All
that
right,
note,
we're out, guys.
thanks for sharing.
Later. Yep.
Okay.